Tonight, presidential candidates, governors, and more weigh in on the Paris terrorist attacks.
And Paris attempts to return to normalcy. All that, plus your weather and sports updates, coming up on WTOP-10 News at 10.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP-10 News at 10. I'm DJ Manu.
And I'm Chelsea Moore.
We'll have more on those stories in just a minute, but first, authorities have a new suspect regarding the recent terrorist attacks on Paris.
Justin Penman is in the newsroom with more. Justin?
Thanks, guys. French officials say they think they know who is responsible for the attacks on Paris over the weekend. The man they deem to be responsible, his name is Abdelhamid Abouad. Abouad is believed to be close to the sole leader of ISIS. Several hints of evidence point to Abouad leading the attacks, including the fact that several of the suspects that have been caught are in deep connections with him. On top of that, French paper Le Monde says that investigators interrogated an ISIS recruit, and he said Abouad was the leader responsible behind the attacks in Paris. And on top of all of that, Abouad is also connected with the suspect they have yet to catch. That's all I have right now for you guys. I'm going to send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Justin. Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner has restated her stance on the possibility of Syrian refugees coming to Syracuse. Over 16 governors around the country have already come out saying they will not allow any Syrian refugees to come into their states. This in response to the massacres in Paris and Beirut, where some attackers were found with Syrian passports. Each year, Syracuse gets about 1,100 refugees who first go through extensive security checks, but most of those refugees on their way to Syracuse are from Congo, Burma, and Kenyan camps, not Syria.
About 100 Syracuse University students and faculty gathered Sunday evening to hold a candlelight vigil for the victims of Beirut, Paris, and the Russian jet that blew up on October 31st. Planning had been in the works to hold the vigil for the Russian jet before the tragedies in Beirut and Paris occurred. But once they unfortunately did, the vigil was expanded to pay respect to them as well. The event was held to truly honor the victims of all attacks, despite most of the attention going towards Paris.
Finding himself being acquitted of felony charges, a Syracuse pimp has avoided a 25-year sentence in prison. 48-year-old Robert Jones was found guilty of misdemeanor promoting prostitution last week, but was acquitted of his charge of physically coercing his victim into selling herself for sex. Jones was accused by the victim of forcibly beating her to make her work for him, which led her to have limited jaw movement and disfigured teeth. During investigation, Jones denied laying hands on her, but was still sentenced to jail while he awaits trial. Now, we saw a little bit of chilly weather and some strong winds in the past couple of days.
Yes, the weather is becoming very brisk and seasonal for this time of the year.
Well, meteorologist Adam Schmidt is outside the campus center with your current conditions. How's it looking out there, Adam?
Pretty crisp right now, and that will not be changing as we head on through the rest of the nighttime hours. Overall, we did see a pretty seasonable day by mid-November standards. Temperatures making it up to around the 56-degree mark here in Oswego. Here's a picture sent in courtesy of WTOP meteorologist Lucas Riley, showing you that magnificent picturesque sunrise over Oswego County. And you see there a layer of fog mixed in with that picture, and some places this morning did wake up in seeing abnormally amounts of fog that created some treacherous travel conditions early this morning. Taking a look at some current temperatures out there, temperatures hovering around the 40-degree mark in Fulton. Pretty light winds aided in with some dry air and clear skies are going to really help temperatures drop well into the 30s overnight. A little bit further south in Syracuse, pretty similar conditions, temperatures hovering around the 40-degree mark as well. As we take a look at radar and satellite imagery, not much happening out there, and that's going to be the case for the next couple of days before we finally start to see some rain showers move their way on into the region Wednesday night, broadening our horizon. Pretty uniform temperatures across New York State, generally in the 40s. As you peel your eyes down to the south and west, over the Midwest, we are seeing some higher temperatures there that will be working our way into the region for the next couple of days. How long are they going to stick around? I'm going to have that and more coming up in a few moments. For now, I'm going to send it back to the desk with DJ.
Fulton's 12th annual Christmas tree lighting has been scheduled for Thursday, December 3rd from 5 to 8 p.m. The official city Christmas tree is located across from the Fulton Municipal Building at 141 South 1st Street. This year's festivities include the tree lighting at 5:30, free donuts, hot chocolate, candy, photos with Santa, face painting, arts and crafts, and several musical performances. For more information, call the City of Fulton Department of Parks and Recreation at 592-2474.
Coming up later tonight, the enemy of our enemy may be our friend. And Mayor de Blasio announces NYPD's new response. After this, we'll get weather with Adam Schmidt. Stay tuned, you're watching WTOP-10 News at 10. Welcome back. President Obama spoke at the G20 summit in Antalya, Turkey today, stressing his ideas on appropriate action regarding ISIS following the attacks in Paris. Obama concluded his speech saying, quote, "ISIS is the face of evil. Our goal is to destroy this barbaric organization," end quote. But also stated that France and the United States need to work together to get closer.
There have been a few who suggested that we should put large numbers of U.S. troops on the ground. And keep in mind that we have the finest military in the world, and we have the finest military minds in the world. And I've been meeting with them intensively for years now, discussing these various options. And it is not just my view, but the view of my closest military and civilian advisors that that would be a mistake.
Being criticized for his strategy against ISIS, Obama also reaffirmed that the United States should not turn their backs to Syrians looking for safety, as well as he will not send more troops to Iraq and Syria.
The recent attacks in Paris have shifted the primary focus of the 2016 campaign from immigration and the economy to foreign policy. Republicans and Democrats differ in their views on foreign policy, but what is certain is that the United States is diving headfirst into foreign policy. According to South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, another 9/11 is coming, and it's coming from Syria.
The infamous hacker group Anonymous has broken its silence in response to the Paris attacks, where they are threatening to find and take down ISIS. In a video posted on YouTube, the spokesman who sported the signature Guy Fawkes mask announced they should be expecting massive cyber attacks and be prepared for war. He went on to say, quote, "Anonymous from all over the world will hunt you down. You should know that we will find you and we will not let you go. We will launch the biggest operation ever against you," end quote.
Due to the recent attacks in Paris, many U.S. governors are opposing to allow Syrian refugees into their states. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, explains more.
We will be working to ensure that Syrian refugees are not going to be allowed into the state of Texas and given refuge in the state of Texas, even through 501c3 based organizations. And we are in the process of undertaking measures to make sure that we will be able to ensure Texans are protected from those refugees coming to the state.
These responses are in direct correlation with heightened concerns that terrorists may use the refugees as cover to sneak across borders.
CIA Director John Brennan warned the public that the attack on Paris was planned and not done in a matter of days, and he anticipates more attacks are in the pipeline. Actions to increase security have already been taken, but Brennan acknowledges that ISIS has the capability to shield and launch attacks on the U.S., but they aren't great. Currently, the FBI are monitoring hundreds of suspected ISIS supporters online, which has already led to 49 arrests this year for related crimes.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio and Commissioner Bratton announced the first deployment of the New York Police Department's new Critical Response Command.
We just deployed our first 100 officers of the Critical Response Command. This is the new elite squad of the NYPD Counterterrorism Bureau. When fully staffed, the command will be over 500 strong, including over 450 dedicated anti-terrorism officers and their superior officers.
This is all part of the effort to better serve and protect the city in the attempt to combat terrorism.
The iconic landmark in France, the Eiffel Tower, has been relit following the Friday's attacks. The 116-year-old tower is being relit in blue, white, and red for 3 nights to represent the French flag as they try to recover the loss of over 100 people in the attacks. Around the world, monuments have shown sympathy, including the Opera House in Sydney, Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro, and the World Trade Center in New York City.